Hey guys, what's up, and welcome back to another episode of Brew and Build. Today we are starting off here in our jungle village area. Hope you guys have enjoyed this. Oh, the sun is going down. Of course it is. I don't have a ton to show you here. Just did the interior of this. Looks like a squid died there. Did the interior here of this build, and I gotta say, I really like how this has turned out. I added some extra details on the outside, mainly just being some fences, and I'm gonna add some buttons. Actually, let's go grab the buttons now. Might as well do it while we are here, because we are not gonna be working here today. We are actually gonna be going over to the gypsy camp. I've got a fun idea to work on there, and I think you guys are gonna like it. But I want to add some buttons just around here because it'll then kind of look like the logs or something that are holding everything together. And I think it'll look pretty cool once it's all said and done. But we got to put these around here like so, like that, and like that. And maybe one more on this side for good measure. How about right there? We'll do that. So, there we go. Let's take a sleepy real quick. All right, I slept. So, I did the interior of this, and I like how it has turned out. So, the inside, very wooden, very storage-centric. Lots of shelves, lots of various different things, but I think it's pretty cool. So, starting off, we've got a little kitchen area here with a whole bunch of cabinetry, and I think that's pretty nice. Fire in the center to keep everything well lit and a little warm, I guess. I don't know if they want it to be warm, but whatever. Dining table right here with a little baby cactus. Do these guys hurt you? No, they don't. They should hurt you. And then just some shelves and things that are going around here. And then this is kind of a workstation area with like a big giant, almost a saw, if you can imagine that in Minecraft. Big giant chunky saw. Or it's just a grindstone or sand belt or something like that. I thought that was pretty cool. Working around here is the bedroom of sorts. And I like it. I put a big old wood pile next to it, and I thought it looked pretty cool. This is one texture that I actually really like. The fact that when you douse the flames of the campfire, that the bottom part goes away is super nice. So I really like that. And overall, I think the inside of this has come out to be something very cool. Lanterns hanging on these 4 corner logs makes everything lit up and spawn proof. So that's nice. I really liked how this has turned out. So yeah, we'll definitely be doing the interiors of these because they're not very hard to do. They don't take too much time. But we're not going to do that today. Today, as I said, we're going to go over to the gypsy camp. So let me go ahead and gather stuff up, and I'll meet you guys over there. All right, so we are over here in the gypsy camp, and we are over here by where the tent pathway kind of fizzles out here. We don't have anything currently that this leads to, and I decided this is the place that is going to lead from our Colas gate into the gypsy camp. I think it's going to be really nice. Now you see a whole butt ton of blue in there, and let me go ahead and switch accounts. All right, there we go. So we are currently in my camera account, and the blue dots you can see now make a line, and there's a little bit of some interesting stuff going on. So I'm wanting to make a pathway that is all windy and crazy, and right now this is how I have it laid out. I may go back and make some of the, let's go ahead and make me creative so I have a cursor. So this is just literally a copy of my person, so that's interesting. There we go. Whoa. Huh. Interesting. That's weird. So the thing that's going to happen is, there I am, look at me. So the pathway is going to go this way, and it's going to kind of extend out, start doing a little bit of curves. I'm probably going to make this maybe curve up here so that this then curves back in, maybe shallow this out just a little bit so these two have a little bit of breathing room between them. There's not much room in between right now. And I'm basically trying to make it so that the biomes around our path aren't really visible. But so the path is probably going to actually extend a little ways this way, swoop down, kind of do like a little turn back, come back around, swoop around, and I actually extended it further up that way because that is a hill, so it kind of blocks the view, so you can kind of get a little closer. So then swoop down, and then there's actually going to be two pathways you can take. You can take this one, or you can take a shorter one that's more overgrown and a little bit more rugged looking. So this is going to be like the standard path, the long way, but this is going to be like some sort of shortcut of some sort. And then I'm actually thinking about making this main path kind of swoop down even further to make this just a bit longer. And then it's going to come around here, and this is actually kind of climbing a hill, and it's coming through, and this is going over a hill, but there's a cave system that's in right there, and so I have the blocks that are down below. I've already emulated this down below in the forest. There's a cave system that I'm thinking is going to pop us out here. We're going to make it pop us out into the swamp, and we're going to actually just extend the dark oak forest into the swamp biome. And I'm going to do some terraforming to make the Cullis Gate kind of in this central portion of the swamp. I think that's going to be a really cool look, but it is going to take quite a bit of time. So that is kind of the game plan. I'm going to go ahead and get started on that because it's nighttime. I want to just get this laid out and started. We may not finish it today, but I was thinking that this could be a fun project for today. So I'm going to go ahead and get started, and hold tight, and I'll be back to show you a little bit more of our progress. All right, so I've been doing a little bit of work, and I wanted to bring you in to show you kind of what the plan is. So as you'll see all along here, there is this line of bushes. And this is not what it's going to end up being like. I'm going to mix in birch leaves and spruce leaves to change it up a bit. I'm also going to probably put in acacia leaves. The leaves all look pretty similar, so I may make some alterations to be able to make them look a little different, especially the dark oak compared to the regular oak. But the plan is we've got this pathway, and we've got all these bushes and stuff, and the goal is to be able to not see where the path is. So right here, we can see the path right over there. So we're going to probably stack these leaves up a bit more. I just laid out the general plan. Whoa, oh, he scared me. But so you're coming through here, and there's these like bits and areas where you are pretty much like, it's pretty, I don't know what I'm trying to say here. What do you have to trade? Not much. So the idea is that it's enclosed. That's the word I'm looking for. So enclosed in. So like this, we're going to probably put a tree here. Maybe we'll make a little pathway that goes to something right here. Not really sure. But we need to give the area around here life so that you have something to view through all of this stuff. But we need to make it so that you are pretty safe as well. As you can see, like it kind of acts as a wall. And if anything, will keep mobs from being able to see you. So this is kind of the idea. So we come along here, and it goes quite a ways. And then you come upon this area, which is a camping area. This is like a stop along the way. You'll have a campsite right here. I'm probably going to make this tree a little bit more like shoved over so you can get to the campsite. And then you're going to have some other bushes, probably put some spruce bushes to keep it nice and dark to make a nice wall here. So that'll be a campsite. And then right along here, there will be another campsite right there and a little pond that I've made. Now, there is a bed here, so let's go ahead and sleep. Now, the nice thing is mobs don't spawn a ton here, at least along the path, because mobs can't spawn on path block because it's not a full block. at least to my understanding. I haven't seen a mob be like spawning on here. But what I wanted to do was put a bit of some nice underwater decoration here, and that'll do. So we've got this nice little pond right here. We're gonna decorate this out a little bit, and I just made it so it's a little featured stop along the way. And as you can see, that's kind of what we're gonna go for. Whole bunch of bushes and just really overgrown leafy area, and of course we're gonna have some bone meal like flowers and stuff. Like I want it to look super crazy in terms of plant life, like super overgrown, and just not really hospitable, not really wanting to be traversed. That is definitely the goal here. So now we can take a look-see real quick, and you see that just looks, it looks almost foreboding. The flowers make it a little happy, but it looks like you wouldn't want to actually go along there. And so that's the goal. The goal is to make it so that you don't really want to explore, because I want it to be like you follow the pathway, and that is the primary aspect of this. Follow the path. So I just wanted to give that a little bit of update. See, this is also kind of what we're going to do. Mix in the birch. It's pretty nice. The birch, the leaf texture we are using is B00's leaves. I thought he has done a great job with them in this preliminary round. I'm not sure exactly if he doesn't actually want them to be used by people in their own texture packs, then I will remove them. But for now, we're using them, and then I'll maybe reach out to him and see if it's okay to use him. But thought that this was a fun thing to show you. And so now I'm just working currently on continuing the bushes and stuff. As you can see, we still have quite a bit of work to do. This is starting to get into the areas where the pathway is a bit more curvy, a bit more crazy. So, and I've got some terraforming to do with cliff sides, little cliff bases and stuff. So it's a little bit more work on further down the path, but I thought I'd show you this as I was going. So let me get to work even more to make this even better, and then I'll be back and we'll hopefully have quite a bit done. All right, guys. We have done a lot of work. Well, I've done a lot of work. Y'all have just sat there and enjoyed it. So I'm going to do something here. I finished part 1 of the path. We still have quite a lot to do. The plans have expanded quite a bit, as per usual with some of my projects. So I'm going to do something that might be a little controversial. I am going to go into creative mode. Now, I'm not going to build in creative. I'm purely doing this so that we can explore at our own pace. I'm going to put our ender chest here, and I'm putting everything in here. Also, Dirty Chai is at 7 durability. That's all path block. That's like path block and some digging, but not a lot of digging. If that tells you how much work has been done. So I'm going to take my armor off, and boom, nothing on. And now we can go into creative. Now, the reason I'm going into creative is because I still want to walk. I still want to walk around to get the feeling of what it's like to walk around on this trail. But I don't want to deal with mobs. So basically, I've had quite a few creepers blow me up while doing this trail. It is much longer than what you have seen so far, and I just don't want to risk blowing more up and having to completely remake a lot of the stuff. I just don't want to do that and deal with it while I'm showing you this stuff. So I want to just take a stroll. So as you can see, the entrance is right here, and I wanted this, basically the goal for this was to make this into a very almost Fable 1-esque type of, actually let's go into, maybe spectator will work because I can control the speed at which I fly through here. I wanted to make this feel like it was like a Fable 1 journey, if that makes sense. So you've got like this trail here, and well, you're not. We're gonna go into creative. So you've got this trail here, and a texture you may notice is this. This is a oak log slab, and you may be wondering, how in the poop did you get that? Well, this is actually just the petrified oak. I decided, you know what, it is technically oak, so why not make it a petrified oak log slab instead of an oak plank? And so you make this by putting 3 logs in a slab formation, oak logs, and you get this. And I think it looks great. I really like it. I really think that it was a good call, because as you'll see later on, some of the crazy stuff that I've done with it is pretty awesome. But back to this. Oh, hi, pig. There's a ton of sort of, it's dark, but not dark enough for you to truly worry about mobs. And this is all stuff you've seen before. I've done a little bit of terraforming and stuff, or treescaping. And so like we've got your first camp here. And so this is there are camps positioned all around to make it so it feels like you actually have a chance to like sleep here. And so we make our way up here, and you've seen up to right around here. And so we've got a pond, and we've got a little abandoned campsite. And so we've got like a little, what's it called? Tent that's like all bundled up and stuff, but nobody's actually using this campsite. And so you've got the water. I'm not sure why it's all squared like that. I'm using Sildur's new texture pack, or textures, shaders, and I want to see, yeah, underwater looks pretty cool. So the water's a little different. Let me see if this looks weird in the other shaders. Yep, it still looks weird. So we use the new ones. The water looks, I'm not sure if I like it as much, but I think it looks good in big bodies of water, maybe not in ponds. So this is up to the point where you saw last. Now I'm going to tell you what we just experienced was probably about 1/4 of the actual path length. So I've gone ahead and done a lot of landscaping here, and I wanted to give some tips on how to make immersive pathways. You know, I haven't really talked too much about how to actually use what you're seeing in some of your builds. And so basically I'm working with line of sight a ton in this. Like back there, all back there, you could see the other biome that's over there. And like over there, you could see that other biome. And so I've grown trees, put bushes and rocks in the way to make it so that you can't actually see it. So you feel like you're deep into the woods. And you come down here and you've got a nice dark cliff area, cliffs on both sides. And that is actually, the swamp biome is actually quite like literally right here. But you can't see it because of what I've done to make it so you don't actually get to see it. So you still feel like you're deep into the woods and you're just going deeper and deeper. And so you've got trees growing all over the place. And this is a point where the pathway, you can see the path and where you're supposed to go right there. And, you know, for most of this path, what I've been doing is putting bushes or cliffs or whatever on the sides to make it so you can't actually like go off in that direction, that it's not supposed to be something that you follow. But in this way, you may want to go down this, but you'll notice you can't actually get up there. I've made it so that it's purposeful. It's supposed to be so you kind of explore and you're like, oh, I can't actually go this way. I have to go and follow the pathway here. And so you have to go this way. And so you get to experience a little bit more of this path right here. And you've got all this cliff stuff that's got all these bushes and all sorts of stuff. It's super awesome and natural feeling. It really reminds me of Fable 2 and how the world felt. And this is a cool spot right here where you can see the path on the other side if you go up here, but it looks, I purposely made all of this kind of tree and bushy looking, so it feels like you're really pretty high up there on this cliff. You're like on top of this tree right here, and so you're many feet up, and you can see kind of a cliff across the chasm, when in reality the ground is actually like right there. But it's playing with perspective. It's playing with how you actually see and interpret the world. And so you come up here and you're like, wow, we just passed up all this entire tree, and there's trees over there, so this must be a giant gorge, when in reality it's not really that big of a gorge. And you're coming up now on the next campsite, which you can easily miss if you just keep going. It's actually back here in this little nook. Underneath this hill, we've got a little cave sort of resting place, which looks really cool in shaders, I gotta say. So you've got a little tiny pond right here, and then a stone bed with some wood and a fire. And this is a fun touch to do. If you ever have like a campfire or something in a cave, definitely like think of the ceiling, because the ceiling is going to get charcoal-y and all that blackness all on it. So definitely think of where the smoke's going to be hitting, and make it so it's actually showing that it's getting all charcoal-y. Now I think the sun is going down, so let me go ahead and sleep the night away so that we can continue our journey and it not be at night. All right, morning time. Now, going down this is actually a pretty cool little area here. You've got like a little ways to go up and stuff, but you can't obviously go anywhere because it's all bushy and you just can't really explore. You can kind of explore, and this is one thing that I definitely tried to do, is make it so you can't really see anything. This is like the only spot you can see where the other pathway is, and I actually might fill this in, but you have to really be looking for it. Like you can't really see it from this perspective besides that torch that's down there. And there's not going to be torches. I'm going to eventually put little lamps and stuff around just to light up the areas that are spawnable. Most of this path block, if you didn't know, is not spawnable, and leaves aren't spawnable, and obviously slabs aren't as well. So there's only a few spots in here that are actually spawnable. And so I wanted to make, this area is interesting because I wanted to make the path a little bit more interesting. It's been a little straight for a bit here, and I wanted to make it a little more interesting. So there's a tree here and a tree here, and I was like, you know what, why not make it so the pathway is forced in between these trees, but then there's this big thicket right here. And so you have to really do like a big curve and a dip down, and this just adds so much flair to the pathway. It's small nuances like that that really make it interesting. And I also wanted to keep little bits of skylight access right there to where you can see the sky, and so you still don't feel like you're totally like being strangled by the forest, but it's starting to get a bit more weedy and a bit more crazy. Here's our first llama. There are two llamas. Made a little mushroom here, just a fun little mushroom since it is a dark oak forest. This area has seen many creeper explosions, but this is a fun little area. I decided, you know what, let's make another pond, make it a little bigger, and let's actually incorporate, there was a raid as well. Let's make it so that you can explore out into the pond, and it's kind of you're invited to with the pathway, but let's make it so you can't actually get up there. Now, of course, you could be cheesy and you could do that, but this is something that I see game design do a lot, where you're like following a pathway, and there's all these little areas that you can explore, but you can't go in here and go up there. You have to follow the pathway, but you get to see a little bit of what's ahead. And so that's something that I've been really trying to play with in this. So you have to go up here, and this is where creepers tend to spawn. It's pretty sad. You go up here, there's a little cliff you can still see up into the pond area, and you go back down, and this is the first tree that incorporates our slabs. And I gotta say, I love what these are like. I mean, like, you can make roots like no one's business here. It's so good. If you do the full log block, or the full like log block that doesn't have the rings on the top, you can make like different variations of heights of the roots, and then you can use the roots to slowly go into the ground instead of just being like blocks. I gotta say, I really like it. And now you get here, there's a little cliff area right here. Of course, a beware of pixies. That's just a little callback to Fable, because there are some pixies that like to hang around pond areas. And this is your next campsite that you can stay at if it's nighttime. And there's a little bit of, actually, let's break. Ooh, no, I broke 2 things in creative. I'm sorry. But there's a little rock right here, a little outcropping that you can enjoy the pond still, little hammock and some table going on. And I really like it. And all these camps also were kind of because I needed a place to stay while I was building all this. And I gotta say, most all the trees are not, I didn't actually build. They were already there and I just added on. But here is where we start getting really into the oak tree aspect of things. You start seeing all of these roots, diagonal roots and things going up. You've got the root system that kind of feeds into this, and then you just start getting more and more ingrown, I guess, into the forest. And I gotta say, I really like it. More little leaves and things, birch trees occasionally. And I just wanted this to really feel like you're deep into the woods. Now this is a section that is actually kind of interesting. So we just walked all the way around this big loop. And some of you might be thinking, are you really going to do that every single time that you come through? And I thought of something. So you know how in many video games, there are little, like, you have to go through this big pathway and stuff just to realize, oh, there's a shortcut later on that you can access once you've gone through a certain part. Well, that's what this is. So you've got a big tree here and you've got a big tree here, and you kind of can like look and you can see like, oh, this is nice. This is a nice view. This is the area. If you can notice, that's the area we were looking at from over there, but you don't really see it. There's actually a way down here that if you use the new shift mechanic where you shrink a bit, you can actually cross through this little ravine and get to the other side. And you didn't even notice it because this is this little area, the little gorge area, and didn't even notice that there's a little pathway right here through this tall grass. And this is just something for me to use while I'm having to run around and stuff. So I won't take it all the time, but it's to shorten up, like if I forget something for some reason or need to do something. It's just a little fun pathway I can take. Still really immersive, but a shortcut nonetheless. Now we're getting into even more wooded areas. Cliffside, a little bit of open sky right here, another mushroom. You can view now exactly where we are. Eventually we'll get rid of those guys right there. And you just keep on going. It's quite long. I will say it's quite long. This area was all flat. I decided I drove it all down to make a little bit of a cliff so that we didn't have to worry about mobs too much, and it also just adds a bit of interest. And so you've got a little forest over there that's all overgrown. You've got this tree right here. Pathway continues and continues on down here, and even that tree root goes all the way down. And you've got a little block here, and you continue going all the way through. Here's our next llama, and this is when a sense of foreboding should take over a bit. You've got this dark, dingy sort of campsite that looks abandoned because of all the cobwebs, no fire or anything, and it looks like it should be a pretty nice campsite. But we're getting into a darker territory now, and this is where we're going to have to leave off today. We've got a fun mushroom, because you get here, another mushroom, you get here, and this is when you start getting into a cave. So this is actually just half of what we're going to be doing. Half, or it might be not even half, I don't even know. So this is the trail portion, but we're going to go through this cave, and this is where I've set up everything now. We're going to go through this cave, and eventually I want the Cullis gate to be right down there, and I want to make this into sort of a path. Like the cave exits right here. and I want to connect all of this and make this all an enclosed area that is like the dark oak forest but swamp version. And I want to make it so you can't explore outside of it, and we can do some really fun things with making it sort of like a swampy graveyard type of place, with dark oak type trees, maybe some dead trees as well. And I think it's going to be really fun just to add some immersion. I know that this project has definitely taken over quite a bit of, taken quite a turn, but I think it's going to be really, really fun. And so now you can see like the pathway, you can kind of see it, but it's really not far. Like that's the gypsy camp, and somehow all of that pathway can fit all in here. I mean, it kind of comes down and follows this blue path. It goes around here, goes back up through here, and then there's the little gap that we can go through ourselves. This path actually goes way down here and comes back and then just goes down this way. And then eventually we're going to have a nice enclosed area that is going to have the Cullis Gate that you have to get through down here, follow more pathway type things through a swampy graveyard. Maybe we'll name tag some skeletons with helmets on so that they don't die and they can actually like attack us. I want to also make a bandit camp, maybe in this clearing area with, I've got some raiders that are kind of locked up over here. And they should be in here at least. Are you guys in here? Or did you despawn? No. So I've named them Bandit Rogue, and Bandit Swordsman. There was a fourth one. They were stupid and they shot each other. There's my bed. They were stupid and shot each other. So I'm going to have to get more. But I want it to be like it's like along the pathway or along a pathway. It doesn't even have to be this particular pathway. I want it to be like you have to go by this bandit place where they'll actually shoot at you. And I thought it's just a fun immersion thing. I don't know. I'm really into right now this immersion thing. This pathway has been really, really fun, and I'm really excited to build this Cullis Gate. I'm gonna build this Cullis Gate next episode, I think, and really deck it out with all this swamp stuff. So we have, if we reach episode 100 and we haven't finished this off, then we can at least make it so that, you know, we have a Cullis Gate, we can transport it, and we can at least walk our way to the cave and make it through that path and stuff. I think that'll be quite fun, and I'm really looking forward to it. Let me know what you guys think of this, if this has been helpful at all for learning a bit about how to do pathways, gives you ideas and things. I think it's super, super fun. I really, really love this entire thing. Like, this project is probably one of my favorite projects that I've worked on. So let me know what you guys think, and I think I'm going to stop rambling now. So if you guys liked the video and liked everything so far, let me know down in the comments and leave a like in real life. And I will see you guys in the next episode.